What up, this is Knowledge, here to review Dreezy's new album, No Hard Feelings. So, I've been on Dreezy since the Chirac freestyle that she did probably a few years ago now. She just fucking destroyed it, and that was my first time in a while hearing a female MC that like sounded hungry, had some lyrics to her, and like actually killed that shit. Killed it to the point that like Nicki Minaj had a really good like stellar verse on that album, and I didn't want to hear that shit no more after Dreezy's came out, and I heard just what somebody could do on that beat. Like I don't have time for the original version of that song anymore. All I want to hear is Dreezy on it. So I heard that freestyle and I was like, all right, well, I need to check out the next thing that Dreezy got, or like whatever's out right now. So it turned out the Schizo album had come out either right with that freestyle or soon after, before. It was around the same time. So on my website, I did a written review of Schizo, and I was not impressed at all. It was a pretty negative ass review, and the issue that I had with it was like it was like 2/3 love rap, which is like coming off of Chirac. It was the last thing I expected from Dreezy. So like she's talking about love. She's like 19. She's not really saying anything. It just felt like random, and then the other third was like sounding like everything that mainstream hip hop was doing that I wasn't fucking with. So I did not like that joint. But I saw what she was trying to do with the love rap, and if I like got over my disappointment from not getting Chirac again, I felt like I could see what she was trying to do with the love rap, and I could hope that she would get much better at it by the time another album or mixtape came. And what I really wanted was for her to tell stories. I felt like the way she was trying to attack the topic was just not working. So maybe if she made it more personal, it would actually come out better. So then we get to No Hard Feelings, and that's exactly what she did. She started to tell a lot more stories. In fact, the entire album is a story. So beginning to end, this is her relating. I don't know if it's a real experience or what, doesn't really matter, but the whole album is the story of the transition from one relationship to being single for a little while, and then to another relationship. And there's like, she deals with all the messiness in between. So like the breakup of the first relationship is bad, and then you're in the middle of, you're in this like single phase, and you don't really know if you're ready to move on to something else or not, and if the person that you want to move on with is the right person, and they're not sure about you. And then you do get with that person and everything's great, but like your past is still there. So turns out like I might still be kind of fucking with my ex. Like that shit happens, and that's like that's all real life things that happen. So it ends up making for a pretty good story. The album itself, though, it's just pretty good. And I'll get to why that is in a second. But I at least want to say, like, I'm really happy that this album is much more cohesive than Schizo. It's continuing in what Schizo was trying to do, and it's executing at a much higher level than Schizo was at. So I'm overall like pretty decent about this album. There's still stuff that I don't like. I miss the Chirac Dreezy, and it's doing this mixture of hip hop and R&B that like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But so let's start with the good. So the better parts of the album, the parts that I like a lot, like they didn't hit me when I first listened to it, but probably on like the second or third listen, some songs started to grow on me. And these are the songs that mix this hip hop with, I guess, an R&B style that feels to me like it's from like the 2000s, as opposed to current hip hop or like really old hip hop. Like the girl's only probably like 20 years old now. She's not going to reach back but so far. But what she does reach back to is stuff that I actually like when she does reach back there. So like there's one song, Afford My Love. It's got like this like slow beat that is has a really strong bass, and the song is about like guys thinking that they can just holler at Dreezy and flash money. Like, they can talk about how they'll spend money on her and that kind of stuff. And she's supposed to be super impressed by this whole thing. And she's like, all right, so come on, spend your money, nigga, and then peace. Because I don't really fuck with you. I never fuck with you in the beginning. But since you talk all this shit, come pay for my dinner. And you can't be mad at her. If you lead with money, then you're going to get paid for your money. But then, like, there's a Wale verse in the middle, and, like, Wale's verse is, like, lyrically whack, and, like, it doesn't even match with what Dreezy's talking about. I feel like he was trying to answer Dreezy by talking about, like, no, actually, I'm going to fuck the hell out of you. I guess, like, I have something else to offer. I don't really know what his point was. What was he trying to do? Whatever he was trying to do, the shit failed. Wale's just not that good, and I don't understand people's fascination with him. I feel like he can be good sometimes, but like he doesn't often do that. It seems like he doesn't care to try that most of the time. So it's a good song. I really could have done without Wale on it. I did not need Wale's verse at all. So then some other songs that I really liked a lot were like Worth It, Ready, because I'm a sucker for any song that samples Roy Ayers. Everybody Loves the Sunshine. Close to You is a really sexy song. It has T-Pain on it, and like T-Pain sounds really good. Dreezy sounds good on it. Dreezy raps on it still, like, even though this is this slow song about sex. And then, like, I can't, like, listening to it, I kept thinking, like, what the fuck have I been doing with my life that I don't know more about T-Pain's music? Because, like, T-Pain has made some, like, good, like, some flat out good R&B. Like, not like, oh, it was cool in the club, but like, this is good, period. And like, I don't know what I've been doing, because I haven't been paying nearly enough attention to T-Pain. So if he doesn't have something coming out soon, I need to reach back in that catalog, and I need to, like, get up on his stuff, like, now. I've been missing out. And there was one, like, really rap song called We Gon' Ride that I was feeling a decent amount. It's got Gucci Mane on it. Gucci Mane's pretty much doing his normal thing. You don't expect great lyrics out of him, but they were pretty okay. And then Dreezy is also just rapping on it. It's a pretty decent song. It's not spectacular. It's probably not something that I'm going to be reaching back for a whole lot. It's going to be more so the first, 4 songs I mentioned, and they're R&B sounding. There's not much, like, straight up hip hop on this album. And I guess that's just the direction that Dreezy's moving in. I'll just have to get over that. So in terms of things I didn't like, I felt like the songwriting on this album could use some work. There was just some missed opportunities where, like, so at the beginning of the album is the breakup, and Dreezy doesn't really get into the details of the breakup the way that I feel like she could have. So that part of the story, like, is given a short shrift, and I feel like that was a misplaced to, like, show some of that anger that comes with finding out that your boyfriend cheated on you, and then you go to his house and you fight him and his girlfriend. Like, we find out a lot of that stuff through skits, not in songs. And I don't know why she made that choice, but I feel like there was just a lot more that could have been delved into there, a lot more emotions that are just kind of glossed over instead. And the same at the end of the album, where she has the new boyfriend, but then the ex is still around. Well, the ex kind of comes back, and, like, we have no idea as an audience that he's coming back until he's here, and she's about to cheat on her new boyfriend with her old boyfriend. So, like, that really caught me off guard, and, like, not in a good way. Like, it was a pleasant surprise or like a plot twist. It was just like, no, this is sloppy storytelling here. Like, you needed to do a little bit more to bring the ex back into the story. Here I thought the ex was gone forever, and he pops back up, and not like pops back up just in, he gets in a fight with the new boyfriend. Okay, that happens. But you don't think that he has any chance to, like, get back with Dreezy, and then here they are messing with each other in, like, the second to last song. So, like, that's where No Hard Feelings comes in. So I guess maybe it's supposed to be like a climax to the story. But for me, it just felt like it became anticlimactic, because you were leading me down one direction, and I just didn't really like how it ended. I felt like a little more attention should have been spent on why the ex has a way back in and his process of getting back in. That's just my opinion. That's just what I wanted out of it. Also, the R&B sound didn't really do much for me outside of the songs I mentioned. Like, when she's not reaching back, she's pulling from the R&B sound that is popular right now, and I'm just not into that stuff. Like, there's songs that sound like they could be Chris Brown songs, and like, I don't listen to Chris Brown albums, so like, this isn't the hip hop that I want. If you're gonna mix hip hop with R&B, I'm gonna, as a 30-year-old man with my taste who's like a hardcore hip hop head, I'm gonna have a different opinion about what I want this to sound like and what sounds of R&B I want you to pull from. It's just a stylistic difference that me and her have, and she's probably like about 10 years younger than me, so that's kind of to be expected. So those are my two like biggest issues. It was like the songwriting and the sound of the album. There's still a bunch of joints that I do like, and then there's some middling stuff in between. I mean, overall, I think it's a pretty good album. I think I'm decently happy with it. I'm about as happy as I can be when I'm not getting Chirac Dreezy, and instead she's moving towards this new lane, and like, she's firmly in that lane at this point. I don't think she'll ever go back to being that kind of MC that she was introduced to me as. And it's pretty interesting because, like, I think if I had heard this now without hearing that, I don't know how much I would even care, like, to spend time listening to her stuff. Like, if I had heard Schizo, if that was my introduction to Dreezy, I wouldn't have paid any attention to her ever again. But because of Chirac, I paid attention to Schizo, which then had me paying attention to No Hard Feelings. So like, she's pulled me into a style of rap that like I probably would not have cared for otherwise. And it's because she started as this hardcore MC that now she's like, it feels like she's running away from being that person. But it is what it is. I've got to accept this album and deal with it as a critic in the arena that it's trying to operate in, and that is this, like, what I'm calling love rap, for lack of a better term. And overall, it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's far from terrible. It's she's making huge strides since Schizo. I see where she's going. She's getting better at making this style of music. It'll probably, this style, I don't know, maybe she'll get really good at it at some point, but like, for now, I can't see it getting really great scores for me. But I think this is a solid like 3 out of 5. Probably on the low side of 3s, but I don't do half scores. It's just decent. It's pretty good. I think it's worth listening to. I don't think that I'd like recommend buying it. So there it is, 100 Proof Hip Hop's first video review, Dreezy, No Hard Feelings. I'd appreciate if I could get some feedback from you guys. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. Let me know what you're thinking about the review itself, and I'll keep going. Keep doing some more video reviews. I don't know when the next one will be. I don't know what it'll be on, but it should be coming sometime soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.